So communication and the richness of that communication is impacting all of us, whatever our profession. For your clients or customers, they have a much greater awareness of your product, the product you may be prescribing or giving to the companion animal. That awareness will be based on what they've seen in the news, in the media, what they found on a website before they've come to visit you. They have a much richer ability to almost have a very technical conversation with yourselves, which means that the client engagement time is likely to increase. You're going to have to explain yourself in more detail, why you've made that decision. And they have much greater choice. I've mentioned Dogster as an example from the US. So you need to consider the positioning of your business and your practice versus these new business models which are beginning to appear. Now, for you in your day-to-day business, I would encourage you to think about how technology can help you in recruitment, procurement, gaining customer insight, professional community, how you build that, how you network with your peers. Consider your global network and consider how you yourselves keep informed about the latest research. Because as sure as anything, your customers and clients will be looking at what's being published. If they love their dog or their cat and it has a condition, they will research it, I'm sure of that. Now, I've talked about the changes, why they're occurring, and the potential impact on your business. So now I want to give you some tools to help you think about new ways of working. There's a very nice model which is displayed on this slide, which talks about value generation, particularly for businesses that are communication rich. And it's a very simple model, and it has 4 main drivers. As you would expect, efficiency is one of the most important ones. So the way you conduct your business, do you send a postcard or send an email reminder? Do you send photos to colleagues by email, or do you send them in the post? There are many simple things we can do to improve our efficiency. Complementarities. What other products, services, or help can our extended network of colleagues give our clients, our customers? Should we be working with pet carers? Should we be working with people that offer bereavement services for those that have lost a loved animal? Should we offer pet insurance? What are the complementarities that would be most appropriate for our business that our clients and customers would like to see? Lock-in, loyalty. How do we ensure the client comes back to us to receive the treatment and advice for their animal? What services are you going to offer to ensure that you maintain a relationship with your client over time so they do not switch to another provider? You really need to look at these questions and areas to understand what you can do. Novelty. Is there a new service? We've heard this morning about the R&D efforts of Pfizer, the investment. So will you be able to offer new diagnostics or new services to your clients over time? How are you going to promote those new services? How are you going to let your clients know that you now have them and have that capability? All questions to consider. Running a business now is much more complex than it has ever been. The barriers to entry for others are much lower than you might imagine. Another very simple tool to help you is one that is used in the technology space. A guy called David Chaffee uses a methodology called SOSTAC to evaluate e-marketing projects, but it is applicable in a business sense as well. All of you need to perform and be aware of the situation or landscape that your practice is in. What the competitors look like, what they're doing, what your clients are doing. You really need to have that customer insight to help you make decisions and plan the success of your business. Then decide what your objectives are. Decide as a practice where you want to go, where you want to be, and then determine a strategy. how you're going to get there. And then we get into defining the tactics, what actions you're going to take, what control, what measurements you're going to put on there, and how you're going to use those measurements to feed back in to modifying the tactics. It is an iterative process. It is not something that can be done once and forgotten. And this applies to yourselves, as well as large corporates like Pfizer. We constantly review where we are at, the landscape and the environment that we operate in. And all of us have to do this on a regular basis to ensure the success for the future and the foundation for our business. I wanted to choose an example from your area. So this is Manchester and Cheshire Dogs Home, a very large charity in the northwest of England that takes stray dogs. And already you can see that these models are being applied in the not-for-profit sector. So they offer vet services, they offer chipping, they offer neutering. They have shops, so they've linked the website to the activity of the shops, the bricks and mortar establishment. They offer a bereavement service. They have a relationship with a crematorium, so the dog owner or the cat owner can know the ashes being returned to them are those of their pet, not one that's been mixed in with other animals in some other way. And that's very meaningful in the companion animal area. They have an online shop to help them generate revenue. They are not running the shop necessarily, but they can also operate affiliate schemes where they get a percentage on sales. And they have sponsorship from some of the dog food providers, in this case, Pedigree, on the bottom right-hand corner. So this website alone, from the charity sector, demonstrates 3 of the areas of the model that I showed you: complementarities, efficiency, and novelty. So I think the model that I've shown you is simple, can be applied in many areas, and I believe you may want to consider it to help you with your businesses. I've talked about community and I've talked about communication. And I want to talk a little bit about insight, because insight about the environment you operate in is so critical to ensuring your success now and in the future. Do you really understand who your current clients are? Do you understand how your clients are changing and what your clients will look like in 5 to 10 years' time? Do you know where your clients go now for pet advice? I'm a dog owner myself. I visit my vet on a regular basis, but I also go to Pets at Home. I also look online for information. I am possibly typical of some of the people that you deal with, and whilst I have loyalty to my veterinary practice, I recognize there are some things that I may want to do myself. So do you understand who influences your clients? Do you really understand it? Have you asked them? Have you ever had that conversation with them to understand why they've walked through the door, why they've come to you, and why they've come back to you? What they like, what they dislike. Has anybody ever asked you that question? Or have you ever asked it of them? It's interesting because it has never been asked of me or my fellow dog owners that I work with and socialize with in Manchester. I find that quite strange. So, the parting message from my presentation is really we want to help you embrace change. We want to help you engage with your clients, and you need to think about how you're going to do that. We need to understand the importance of communication and the richness of it, and how communication is evolving, particularly with social media. And we need to work out how to accelerate value. And it's value for a partnership or a network. So I'd like to leave you with those 3 parting messages, and I hope that's helpful to set the scene for the later discussions for the day. Thank you for your time.